I left my clippers at church.
We're live.
We are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday.
Come on in.
I pray you all had a wonderful week.
Our books are going crazy in the background of us.
It's not organized. It's a little rough.
Hard out here in the streets. Hard out here in the streets of.
I feel like I'm yellow. You think that other light?
That's probably your light over there. You want to have your side light. You want to feel like you're special. All right, come on in. Come on. Hey, whatever.
Like...
All right, let's jump in, y'all.
I need a lighting specialist, is what I.
There you did. Yes, you do. Come on in. Let us know where you're streaming from. Wow, my forearms are tight.
Yeah. Kind of sexy. You've been working on them?
Yes, I have been working on them. Good night, Jennifer. Good night.
Hello.
Let us know where you're streaming from. We're not going to be on long, but we're going to be strong. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're going to get some good information out tonight.
Okay. So my name is Jomo.
I'm Charmaine.
We come together on Friday nights for real, raw, and relevant conversation pertaining to relationships.
All right.
You didn't say your name or nothing.
I said Charmaine.
I didn't hear you say Charmaine.
Yep, I said Charmaine.
Okay, so tonight we're going to deal with communication.
Yes.
And I've jotted down a few things that I think will be helpful in dealing with communication and relationship. Mm-hmm. Number one, establish boundaries. Oftentimes, when you're trying to communicate something, someone goes off to left field. Have you had a conversation with a person and you talking about dinner and then they start talking about something else? Or they don't like the way the conversation is going or the direction.
They steered in a different direction.
Yeah, so oftentimes to improve communication, you want to make sure you're clear on what we're talking about,
right?
What we're discussing, and where we're not going. So if you create, when we create clear boundaries, we could be more fruitful in our communication.
Right.
I've learned that oftentimes when it seems like you are having a good argument, or I shouldn't say argument,
you're making a good point.
There it is.
That you're making. It can be offensive.
Oh boy. So when you start making good points, and sometimes people feel like it's a point system, like they're losing the argument.
Right.
Then they want to bring up the past, or they want to bring up your flaw or your issue
to shut you up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it's really hitting below the belt, because when you're talking about one thing and somebody steers the conversation in a different direction, it can feel like they're in defense mode when you're just trying to bring up something in order to correct something. You want me to just turn this one off?
I don't know. I feel like I'm yellow.
You are yellow.
Let me not be so yellow.
Second.
Okay,
that's good. Ooh, that's good.
See that? Okay. You could have just left that alone. Okay.
But when you're being defensive, you're not coming up with solutions to the problem. So when you clearly identify what it is you're talking about, what are some positive ways that you can do that at the very beginning of the conversation?
We're talking about the budget.
Right. Let's talk about the budget, and let's stay on the budget, because it's not about XYZ right now. It's just about the budget. So
that's it.
If the conversation starts steering left, you can acknowledge the fact that they want to talk about something different. Like, babe, I understand that the clothes need to be washed, and maybe that's something that we've gotten off track with, and I agree with you on that. But let's get back to the budget.
Period. Number 2, listen actively. James says, be slow to speak, quick to listen.
Right.
Oftentimes, when we get emotional, we're not logical. When you stop listening, you stop learning. So I will never be able to get proper understanding until I will never get proper understanding until I'm actively listening to make sure I comprehend what you're trying to say. So part of being a good communicator is you have to be an active listener. If you need to take notes, write it down. Because oftentimes in the midst of a heated debate or a discussion, you may forget the key points. So it's a good idea to write things down. if you're having a discussion with your spouse or
Right.
girlfriend, so that you can make sure that you actively answer and that you didn't misrepresent or misunderstand what they're trying to say.
Right. I think also a really good point as far as being an active listener, if you want to be a really effective active listener, you want to not make so many points when you're talking before the other person gets a chance to respond or at least digest the information. So you don't want to have 50 points to what you're trying to do or give a whole bunch of examples, because it's only so much information that one person can take in at a time. So
you want to be succinct.
Exactly.
Number 3, ask questions if you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Babe, I heard what you said. Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you a question. When the last time we talked about this, you told me that you wanted me to do this. Haven't I done that?
Right. Well, see, the thing is this can be a little tricky if you're a sarcastic person. So you don't want to ask questions to your spouse in a sarcastic way or a condescending way.
Did I do
because then
was I condescending there?
It did sound like a little condescending, like, didn't I do that?
I ain't saying didn't I do that.
But somebody could receive it in a condescending way. So just make sure that you're clear, like that you're saying it in a loving way. Just make sure you're cognizant of that, because sometimes when you ask questions, if you feel like the person, you've already discussed this before or they should know, sometimes your tone can be in a manner that could not be received very well.
Huh?
Yeah.
I agree with you. Number 5.
I use one of your words so you could grasp that.
Number 4, acknowledge your feelings. You may not agree with them, but everyone's feelings are real to them.
They're real to them.
So though you don't understand why he or she feels the way they feel, it does not matter. Their feelings are real. So you want to make sure you acknowledge their feelings.
Right.
Because for them, that's the truth.
And you could possibly not even care about their feelings, but you do need to acknowledge the fact that they feel the way they feel.
Agreed.
Because sometimes even when I have conversations with females, and I think they're being overly emotional about something that really is not a big deal in my mind, I'm still going to say, you know what? That's a valid point that you made.
But.
I don't even say a but. I just, it's a valid point you made. I think, or I feel.
Yes.
And I don't know if you can maybe change your paradigm on the situation so you don't feel the same way.
Well, again, first off, another point there. I can't make you feel any kind of way.
Right.
Your feelings are under your control.
Right. But if you give the person an option to feel a different way, because sometimes when you're all in your feelings, you don't even see the other person's side.
No, you don't.
You don't see another side but if you're talking to someone else and you're expressing your feelings to them and they acknowledge your feelings and then give you an option to see it a different way. Now, if you choose not to see it a different way, then the person needs to back off and just let you be in your feelings, because maybe you need to get through your little emotional spat. And then you can clear your mind and think of it in a different way.
Number 5, listen to understand.
Listen to understand.
Oftentimes we hear from hurt places.
Right.
So if you're hurt, you're going to hear from a hurt place and you're going to take everything mostly the wrong way. So you want to be in a position to where I'm listening to try to understand and I'm not trying to respond. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes we listen to respond and not to understand.
That's good.
So when you listen to respond, you say, I can't wait till they shut up because I'm going to tell them about themselves.
And all you heard was the last point that they made that you wanted to respond.
Or they said something that triggered you. And you didn't hear nothing else they said.
Right.
Because you read it.
Go in.
Okay. Number 6, consider your body language.
Or crossing your arms. Now, it's okay to cross your arms if the other person's crossing their arms, but it's a very defensive, unwelcoming pose to have when you're having a conversation. You want to be open. You want to keep your hands open. Or you can do that? Is that a good one?
It's not bad.
It's endearing, right?
Endearing.
Like you're leaning in.
I'm thinking, So consider your body language.
All right.
Because people read, they say, I believe 3/4 of communication is body language, not words.
Right.
So you have to be mindful with your body language.
Right.
Okay. Number 7, avoid criticism. You always. I don't understand you. I mean, well, how do you think like that? Why do you think like that? Who raised you?
Wow. I think it's always good to come from a posture of yourself first, so people don't feel like they're being attacked.
Yeah.
So you can say, when this happened, it made me feel like this. So it doesn't put the blame on the other person, and they'll be more willing to receive the information you're giving. So like, when you drove the car so fast and I was gripping this door, it made me feel scared. And I was just wondering if we could work on that.
Well, you could just get over it and understand that you were blessed to have a professional driver as a husband, and I'll get you there quicker. So that's what I'm playing. No, you have to acknowledge the person's feelings and say, listen, I agree with you.
But some people would get that response.
I agree.
So like, if someone gets that response, then how would you respond back? If they respond back, well, you just need to figure it out for yourself, because it's not like you and your feelings.
Well, what my goal is, hubby, I want to bring our insurance down, and you got so many tickets.
You can't say that.
we got.
You know what? I don't want this to cause any friction in our marriage, and this is something that really concerns me. And I feel like the things that concern me should concern you, because we're one in Christ.
I agree with that, and the law says not to speed, and we're believers, and we got to follow the law.
If he's saved.
If that's okay, he's not saved. You know what, babe? I know that our relationship is important, and I know our kids are important, and I never want anything to happen to you. So sometimes when I see you speeding, I get concerned that if I'm not here, what would happen? Or if something happened to you, what would happen to us?
Oh, that's awesome. When? Give me some. Pow.
Communication.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Be respectful.
Okay.
Put some respect on it.
Put some respect on it.
If you're going to communicate with someone and you expect them to receive from you,
right,
you got to put some respect on it. Right. Example, the number one need of a man's respect. Mm-hmm. The number one need of woman's security.
Right.
So if you want to get to a man, make sure you do it respectfully.
Right.
Hey, babe, I know you are the head of our home. I know that I respect and I honor you. Yeah. I said, but what I really want us to focus on right now is our budget. I know you got it. I know you're paying bills, but I want us to be more secure for our future. I know the kids, we're thinking about the kids going to college. We're thinking about the kids doing this. So how do you think we could be better at saving money? Or another one is, hey, babe, I thought about our budget. So I had a couple thoughts. Number one, we could bring back lunches for a little while. Number two, we can cut date night from 3 times a month to twice a month. Number three, we can cut some packages from our cable. My point is,
come with some solutions.
Correct. Instead of telling him what to do, let him choose some options you all like.
Mm-hmm. And what Jomo just did was a great example of sandwiching a conversation. And this works for both husband and wives. So you want to start with the positives, because there's always something somebody does well.
Correct.
And then go in with the problem or the challenge, and then come up with some optional solutions, and then end on a good note with their positives and, what you see for the future if those things are able to work out.
Correct. Yeah. Lastly, compromise. There has to be a middle ground. Mm-hmm. Say you guys are arguing about sex. Okay. I know I went there. And she wants it more, and he's just happy to be there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I flipped it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Now, what do? Well, she wants to have sex 4 times a week. He wants to have sex once a week. Well, what is that? 2.5. I don't know what the 0.5 is.
Zip it.
My point to you is, you have to find middle ground.
Right.
Okay. The Bible says the husband must lay his life down. That's probably not a good analogy. The Bible says you must lay down, brother.
Lay
down. You better lay it down. You better lay down and lay it down.
Lay it down.
Anyway, so we have to find a balance in every aspect of a relationship.
Right.
There'll be seasons when she wants you more and you may want her more, and you have to compromise.
Right.
The Bible says your body doesn't belong to you anyway. So for y'all married folk, y'all need to stop all that foolishness. And of course, we're not talking about if you have a medical condition or something traumatic. But the goal is we want to try to please our spouse in our marriages.
Right.
Well, I hope we gave you some quality information. And so we holler at you. Remember this.
Love, laugh, and learn.
We have a Love on Purpose. Our marriage conference is coming up in February.
So excited.
The 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets. It will be a blessing. It's going to be a Friday evening and Saturday about 3/4 a day. And we're just going to work on our relationships. All right? Well, we love you to life. God bless you and have a wonderful night. Peace.
Have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.